I'd pay my own money to come and watch this team play, and I think that is all I need to say because I'm tight.
Tattersall has been thrashed out towards the boundary, and there it is! Their 21st county championship title.
The key thing about that game was Will Jack. And that was the innings from Will Jacks where you just sat there and went, wow, you know, I knew this kid was good, but blimey. To be able to do what he did and time it like he did. So don't forget he went out there, Surrey in trouble. He went out there, got his head down, and then picked his time, picked his moment to go. And he did it against Simon Harmer as well. Harmer can bowl to him. You know, there's not many players that Harmer can't bowl, but that day he couldn't bowl to him. And it was an incredible inning.
Again, one of those moments where we weren't quite in trouble, but I think the game could have slipped away from us without a performance like that.
You know, we were in a spot of bother and he played our innings that changed the complete momentum of that game and brought it in, you know, within our favour.
Ridgely bowls again and he's gone for the big heave and it's 6 more.
Obviously we're under a bit of pressure there with the bat, and for him to, I think he got 150, and it was just the manner with how he played with a certain intent and then took the game away from Essex.
He tucks it into the leg side and Will Jacks moves to a quite magnificent century with that single.
I think him batting the way he did, putting on, I don't know what it was, 150, 200 with the last few wickets, it really just almost summed up our season as a group where we recognise moments to turn it around, get back on the front foot and drive the game from there.
Yeah, I think that game, you know, really gave the belief in the team that at any given time somebody's going to stand up. It was Jaxie on that day. And it's a lovely thing when you see the youngsters performing in that way, because the other youngsters in the team have a lot of inspiration from it.
Probably that 150 was a massive part. We were quite far behind the game at the time and we would have had to do pretty well to win it if it weren't for that knock. So I think the way he sort of took the game away from the Essex team, got us that lead, which allowed us to go bowl him out. And then there's been bowling performances as well. I mean, Frankie Worrall, he's been outstanding all year.
As in over the wicket again comes Worrall. Oh, shout for LBW, big shout for LBW. Bowled him, has he?
And Dan Worrall got his rewards. He bowls well enough in most games to pick up 11 wickets in every game, but it doesn't work like that. At times in that Essex game, he was absolutely unplayable. He can go into you, he can go away, and he does it at pace. He's fitted into this Surrey setup perfectly.
Signing Frankie Worrall, obviously I've seen him and I knew how good he was, but to watch that from behind, yeah, he's taken our attack to another level.
It was an important game for us. That change room was so desperate to perform well, and it was just an important moment in that game where we had to bowl 6 overs that night, and I lobbed up a leg side half volley first time, but lucky enough to get a nick, and then the night watchman was out as well, so that really put us in good stead for the next morning to force a result. It's the first time in my career I think that I've got more than 2 LBWs in a game. So I'd spoken to Azza Mahmood, the bowling coach, and Bats. In the previous games that I'd played here, it just took me a little while to get the right length. It's such a great ground to play cricket at, and the crowds that come to watch, the history of the place, and then having the true test between bat and ball. I think when you do well at the Oval, especially as a quick, if you do well at the Oval, I think you're really earning your stripes.
And then the thing I always remember about that is Tom Laws just coming out as night watchman, and Surrey lost some wickets. But the next morning, sort of, you were looking at other players thinking they'll be the ones there at the end to get the 30 odd not out and get Surrey over the line. And it was Tom who, you know, didn't look like a night watchman at all. So, yeah, again, it's what Surrey did all season. They may have been slightly behind the 8 ball, but they managed to find a way to get themselves back into the game and go on and win it. One moment that sort of summed up, I think, this Surrey side this season was Conor McKerr getting that late call up against Warwickshire. Dan Worrall went down in the warm-up, phone call to Conor. I think he was going out for the day with his good lady and got a phone call. Legged it down here. got here, no warm-up, anything. Bowled really, really well, made his runs. And again, I think that sort of summed it up, really. You lose down Worrall, you ring Connor gets down here, Connor comes out, slots in perfectly, no fuss, no bother. On that final morning against Warwickshire, I expected Surrey to win, but I thought it might be harder work than it was. And then all of a sudden, when Roach started getting that ball to go, you were like, wow. And when he gets it to go like that, you know, back to the right-hander, it's horrific, absolutely horrific.
Kemar spell at that morning where the game was well and truly in the balance, and we probably needed to do something quite special to actually go and win that game.
I think they were maybe 240 for 4-ish. And then I think we bowled them out for 270, where it just came back that morning and blitzed through them. And obviously we needed that, otherwise we weren't going to be able to win that game. So I think that's obviously why you sign people of that quality, and to be able to perform like that was amazing.
I mean, he's an astonishing bowler, test cricketer. He's proven himself all around the world, so it's been amazing to work with him, to see him operate in different stages of the game, and I think that's important as development, not only for myself, but I think the whole bowling group. It was so important for us to make some inroads to force a result in that game. So for him to come out on day 4 and just bowl like he did, I think that shows his class as an operator, but also recognising the moment that we needed to grasp to eventually beat Warwickshire, which we did.
I think that those performances have come on the back of a lot of hard work before that. And obviously people see those spells. You see probably the performance that happens there, and the wider aspect of that is the fact that we've had a bowling unit that have kept up relentless pressure on batting lineups, and we've almost taken that team to breaking point. And when those spells have happened, it's because the batting side know that they're under so much pressure that if we get 1, we could get 3. All of a sudden the game changes round.
All of a sudden Warwickshire were out and Surrey were chasing down, and then that was the W Jacks wander out there and hit 4 sixes, wasn't it? And then walk off. Was it 3 sixes? 4, 3, well, it doesn't matter. However many sixes it was, you sat there and he just walks out and goes bang, 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 thank you very much, off we go, and we're done by 2:30. So yeah, it was a spectacular final day.
2 needed, Will Jacks. That's the game for Surrey, because Will Jacks has gone up and over, extra cover off Brad Wheel for 6.
Obviously disappointing not to get the win. It was obviously quite a flat deck, but it was a hard fought week. Boys tried really hard, just unfortunate, but still got 4-point draw, which, yeah, still pleasing. I feel like I'm in a good spot with the bat and ball. Disappointing not to go on after getting myself in. Obviously a very good wicket to bat on. But TC picked up very well, his first class 100, so no, he did brilliant along with Hash.
It was a good wicket to bat. It seemed like the first session of each day was probably the best time, and it got slower and slower as the day progressed. But it was really nice to bat with those guys. They were scoring quickly, so I kind of held up one end, and you know, it allowed them or gave them the freedom to play a bit more attackingly, and I think that's how the kind of partnership developed. I remember him saying a few things, that he's going to be positive and he's going to play his game. So when he came on to bat, he took a few balls to get in, and it was really nice to see him being positive and showing his skill in a 4-day format.
To him, and there he goes. Tom Curran has 100 before lunch here at Wantage Road. He's danced down the pitch to Rob Keogh and has smashed him straight down the ground for 4.
In that Yorkshire game, I think the time I thought Surrey are going to do it in this game was probably when they weren't out there on the first day. So they came off for bad light, and all of a sudden the Hampshire score started coming in from the Aegeus Bowl. And you were thinking, really? What is going on there? And then you suddenly thought, right, well, this makes it pretty simple. Now, Surrey, they're in a good position anyway. Push on. Do what you've done all season. And I think I remember doing lots of previews of that Yorkshire, each day doing a preview of the day, and people say, oh, will it be today, will it be today, will it be? And actually all I said was, if they do what they've done all season, the result just takes care of itself, really.
Yeah, I think I'm obviously, it's nice to contribute in a winning cause. I mean, I would have taken 2 ducks and a win this week, to be honest. But it's nice to contribute in a winning cause. And the boys, I think we put on a real good show this week. We sort of got put into bat when the ball was probably offering the most, and to go and bowl a team out twice and make them follow on and then just knock off the winning runs out, I think it's one of our best performances of the year.
It's to my right, and it's ready to be consumed. Tattersall has been thrashed out towards the boundary, and there it is!
A bit bizarre. I don't think I've ever really been out in the middle doing that, because, well, openers normally you're back in the shed by that sort of time, or it's a bowling thing, you get a wicket and that's that. So yeah, a really special feeling. It was really nice to do it with Ryan as well. You know, over the year, forming a really good partnership with him, and seeing him come on and how he's played was brilliant. So to do that, I think was really nice.
And it was a lovely moment when Rory Burns hit. Not that he realised he'd hit the winning runs, because he can't count to 5. But I think there was something right about Rory Burns hitting the winning runs here, at home, in front of his own crowd, against Yorkshire to secure a second title for him.
I think it just, for me, it makes you realise how much hard work that, as a person you put into it and as a group that you put into it, and it's, I think a lot of times you don't actually appreciate when you win something, or when you score 100, or whatever it might be, or you take a 5 for it, because it's just in the moment and then it's on to the next one. I think probably my learnings from being a very junior captain there, as probably one that's more experienced now, is probably that. It's just the fact that the understanding of what you've put into it and to get out what you've got out is a special thing.
We've got a special group of lads in that changing room, guys who are best mates with each other, but some seriously talented cricketers as well. So to win this game here at the Oval is seriously special. I don't think people quite realise the amount of work that's put into titles like this. So it's I think winning a championship's sort of the pinnacle for county cricketers. So it's very special to do it twice here.
It's the hard work. It's the hours spent behind a computer, on a training field, on the field. Everybody puts a hard slog in. It's the grind of the year, and that's why people get so emotional about winning the championship. It's not a flash in the pan. It's over a full season. In fact, it's over about 9 months now, if not even a bit longer. So wow, I mean, it's unfortunately I'm not articulate enough to put it into words, but don't get much better. I'd pay my own money to come and watch this team play, and I think that is all I need to say, because I'm tight.
The way they played their championship cricket this summer was simple, but very effective. I think it was 22 players, wasn't it, in the championship this season, and every single one of them at some stage did something in a game. If you look at the stats, what's really interesting is there isn't one batter with 1,500 runs. There isn't one bowler with 65 wickets. There's just contributions all the way throughout. In terms of sort of unsung heroes, Cameron Steele, I just think the way Cameron came in and did what he did at the back end of the season when Will Jacks got called up for England, you know, it was immense, really. And his numbers won't look fantastic, but in that Yorkshire game, you know, the couple of wickets he did get with the Googlies at that stage of the game were absolutely vital. And I think just that everybody knew exactly what their job was in the side. And that's an easy thing to say at the start of the season, but the fact is they actually did it. Everybody did their job. I've been doing this job far too long now. I think this was season 25. This is the best championship side I've seen over those 25 years for Surrey. Just in terms of the cricket they played and the way they did it, definitely the best championship side I've seen from a Surrey point of view. I think this team could and want to sort of set up their own legacy. They always talk about legacies, don't they? And I think what they want to do now is not just make it 2022 win the championship, they want to back it up in 2023, and then they want to go for it again in 2024. And I think they can do that because when you look at what they've done this season and the players they've got and the so-called youngsters again that have come in, they're around for a long time. They're around for a very long time. And I think that core group will still be there next year. You've got a head coach now who's had one season in the job and has won the championship. He'll be wiser for that. Even though he's got it so right, there'll be things he's thinking about that he might want to change for next season. You've got players that might go off and play for England, but you know how much they want to play for Surrey when they're not playing for England. And then again, you've got your group that have come into the side this season, all made contributions, who might find that they get a full run at it next season. So I think you don't want to go over the top with this at all, but I think it's quite interesting. I think what their aim will be, and again, they won't say any of this, they won't be singing from the rooftops, they'll keep it exactly the way it was this season, but I think they're, in a way, they'd think it was criminal if with what they've got now, they're not pushing again next season and the season after. So I think the future for Surrey cricket looks extremely good at the moment.